Hi everyone, it's Kristen. Welcome back to the channel. I was just coming outside to do some watering in the gardens. We don't have any drip irrigation or anything like that set up yet. It's on the list, but as you can imagine, this stuff does need quite a bit of watering. It's all very fresh and new. We don't have any mulch on the soil yet, so it dries out rather quickly. So we're watering it at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. But the reason for this video is that I got a lot of questions about the no-dig gardening method as well as our raised beds and what we used for them and how we did that. Here are cedar raised beds. So in this video, I'm going to go more in depth into why we chose to do the no-dig garden method, exactly how to do it, the reasons and all of that, as well as how we made our cedar raised beds very inexpensively using cedar fence pickets. So let's get into it. We chose the no-dig gardening method, which focuses on the benefits of not disturbing the life within the soil. There are billions of microorganisms within the soil that are living and working, and they are creating microscopic pathways to transport water and nutrients all throughout the soil. We live in a wet area of the country and our soil tends to hold water. So by using these no-dig methods, we're able to improve our soil by adding organic matter like compost and other amendments. And then these materials will feed the soil and the microorganisms in the soil, and the permeability of the heavy clay soil should increase over time. I learned about this method of gardening from Charles Dowding, who is a gardener who lives in England, and I wanted to read off of his website a quote that I just really kind of sums up some of the reasons why this method works, and I just wanted to read it for you. So this is a quote from his website. It says, "Whenever soil has been dug, loosened, or turned over, it recovers from the disruption by recovering with weed growth, both from roots of perennial weeds and the seeds of annuals. When left uncultivated, undisturbed, and not dug, soil has less need to recover and grows fewer weeds. No-dig soil is full of beneficial organisms and microbes, which help plants to find nutrients and moisture and convey health to the gardener, for example, by feeding his or her gut biome." Before I knew any better, my last garden was made by tilling the soil multiple times, and I dealt with so many weeds every single year. By about August every year with our 90-degree days, I just didn't have it in me to spend hours a day weeding the garden, and it would get out of control. So when I read about this method of gardening, it really intrigued me, and to say that I'm excited about giving it a try would be an understatement. So to start out with the no-dig method, you lay cardboard down. We did this in the walkways as well as in the actual garden beds. And it is recommended that you wet down the cardboard. And this does two things. It helps to weigh it down and just kind of makes it easier to work with, so it's not constantly blowing away. And it also kind of aids in the decomposition process. So it just kind of like speeds that up a little bit. And then the next step is to add your compost. So our compost was just made of like leaf litter and things like that. We got it from a local like landscaping place. And we added about 6 inches of the compost into each of the beds. And then we did wood chips in the pathways. So by laying the cardboard and putting the compost and the wood chips over it, the idea is that we are suppressing the weeds and leaving the soil alone to let it do its thing. And we're just adding the soil and the wood chips and things on top, which will slowly break down over time and feed the soil beneath, hopefully while keeping weeds at bay at least a bit more than I've experienced in the past. But of course, I'll keep you guys updated on how everything goes throughout this season. Let's talk about how we built our cedar raised beds. So for the raised cedar garden beds, we knew we wanted to figure out a way to make these cheaper. And so Scott came up with this idea of using cedar fence pickets because we don't want any treated lumber in the gardens where we're going to be eating food out of. So cedar pickets is a very inexpensive way to build these raised beds. Each of these beds used 6 fence pickets and cost $25, and that makes a 3-foot wide by 10.5-foot long garden bed. So I'm going to show you some footage of him making them, and I hope it's helpful.